Hi, I'm Lee Marvin, and this is Trailers from Hell. Today we're going to look at the great American film, A Star is Born. No, not the shitty one with Streisand. And no, not the okay one with Frederick March, Janet Gaynor. And not even What Price Hollywood, which is pretty damn good, and that's the original Star is Born. No one talks about that. But this is 1954, Judy Garland, James Mason, Jack Carson, Charles Bickford in George Cukor's Star is Born, a Jack Warner production, a truly great film with a genuinely bad trailer. Downtown Los Angeles, the Shrine Auditorium, where the most awaited event in the history of entertainment is about to take place. Wonderful shot of that beautiful chandelier in the shrine. That's the same stage that King Kong was on, but this is Mrs. Norman Maine, played by Judy Garland, singing. The great voice. This is really a crummy trailer for a genuinely wonderful film, The Great Heart. Judy had been fired from MGM, the great personality. She was shooting Annie Get Your Gun, and they just got sick of the most beloved entertainer of our time and her craziness and bad behavior, and they fired her. She didn't work for 5 years. This is her comeback picture, and she came back. The most distinguished motion picture of all time? Well, maybe not, but A Star is Born is genuinely wonderful. James Mason gives a superb performance. I always think he's underrated in this. People say, oh, James Mason's great, but he's better than great. He's extraordinary. And Judy Garland is at the height of her powers here. And she here has that touch of tragedy that became basically her career for the next 30 years. There's James and Judy. You can't tell anything from this trailer. What an incredibly moving and actually realistic movie. It doesn't look at those colors. You wouldn't think this is realistic, but there's a scene after Norman Maine's death when he kills himself where she's coming out of the funeral and she's wearing a black veil. There's Jack Carson, head of the studio of Charles Bickford. Carson plays a publicist and a vicious hack. They're also very realistic. Here's Judy talking to the understanding head of the studio. Not realistic. But what is extraordinary, the scene where Judy comes out of the funeral wearing a veil and a newspaper photographer rips the veil off and says, show us your face, honey. And I gotta tell you, I've actually seen that in real life. That's not a joke. This is an amazing movie because it's melodramatic, it's stylized, it's everything you would think wouldn't work, and it works brilliantly. George Cukor's direction is extraordinary, and his prowess with actors really comes true. She made 100 songs live on her lips and sang them all to the one man who lived in her heart. Anyway, it's just, I don't know, because this makes it sound like, you know, a Ross Hunter picture. But it's genuinely great. You can't tell a goddamn thing from this trailer. I strongly suggest everybody watch this, and watch it in scope, because it's been panned and scanned to death. And there's some amazing musical numbers, beautifully shot.
You lost your sky of baby blue, you gotta have me go with you.
There's Judy at the edge of the stage. This became her shtick. She then went on to do this at Carnegie Hall, at the Palladium in London. She spent years giving concerts where she'd do this Born in a Trunk number. And Judy Gum, that's her, Ms. Garland, was actually born in a trunk. And I bet you didn't know that George Jessel gave her the name Garland. Unrivaled, the artistry of Judy Garland. In this case, the hyperbole is true. She's great. Unmatched, the emotional intensity of a rich human story. I think the Jack Carson character wrote this. This is a really wonderful movie. The splendor of CINEMASCOPE and color by Technicolor. A Star is Born. Check it out.